All right, well, it's 9:31. So appreciate everybody being here this morning. So excited you're with us. This is Earn the Dawn. I'm Tom Speaks with the Impact Group. We work with, with school districts, with boards of education, with boards of development and disabilities, with park districts, entities that care for others. Our mission at the Impact Group is we positively impact people's lives. It's what we do. It's what we're passionate about. So we're so excited you guys are here with us today. Today we're talking about Earn the Dawn. What is that? What is Earn the Dawn? This is a little kind of a different twist from the things sometimes we speak about. Earn the Dawn is it's a philosophy. It's something that we very much incorporate here. And the idea is, in a very large sense, that we create our own lives. We create what we manifest in this world, and the idea of Earn the Dawn is really it's intentionality. It's intentionality. And I'm going to begin this today with a very difficult, easy request from you all. I want you to think for a second about this. I want you in your mind, either get out a white piece of paper, you write this down, or in your mind you think about this question. What do you want? Seemingly simple question, right? What do you want? This is one of those questions that you kind of shrug it off, but if you actually take a moment to think, you got to sit in the woods for a couple of days to sort this stuff out. I mean, what do you want in your life? With intentionality, what do you want? What do you want as far as your health and fitness? What do you want as far as relationships, financial stability, recreation? How are you going to contribute to the world? Your spirituality, your emotional well-being, these different aspects. What do you want? It's a fascinating thing. A lot of folks will kind of wander through life frustrated. I haven't achieved it. I haven't found it. And you ask them, well, and with all grace, what is it? What are you trying to find? What are you trying to like? I don't know. Well, if you don't know what you're trying to find or where you're going, there's a good chance you're not going to get there. And I say this with great humility as well, because I, like all of you, I'm a seeker myself. I'm searching for these things, but trying to do it with intentionality. Now, if we don't know where we're going, we're not going to get there. So as we go through these today, I want you to think about this. I've only got you for a half hour. We could talk about this stuff for 8 hours. But the idea is, what do you want? And to actually sit down those different aspects, health, personal relationships, family, physical stability, emotional well-being, spirituality, recreation, how are you going to contribute to the world for each of those items, to be thoughtful about it. We do a lot of work at the Impact Group with building leaders. We build leaders in a lot of ways. We build leaders, as far as specific techniques, how to have difficult discussions, how to do whatever. Today, we're just doing very quickly. So this is some of the inner work a little bit. I want to hit on some of these different aspects that are a part of Earn the Dawn, which is very much rooted in a concept of Stoicism. And Stoicism it's an old concept. Zeno, back in Athens, way back in the day, established this idea. And really, Stoicism is often misunderstood. When someone is stoic, they are almost like without feeling. They're not they take everything and it just they're almost like a rock. That's kind of an outward manifestation, but Stoicism, you can have a very feeling, sensitive, emotional person in this world, but it's a system to deal with things. And a big piece of Earn the Dawn and a big piece when we develop leaders is that inner work, right? So we're showing up for others, but what are we doing on the inside? So there's a couple aspects here I want you to leave with. One, I want you to think long and hard. What do you want? Okay, what do you want? As I want to go into some different pieces here. The first one, if we're going to create an intentional world, and if anybody's worked with Impact Group before, you've heard us talk about this a ton, gratitude, appreciation, to root yourself in the gratitude to be appreciative for the things in your life right now, as opposed to always desiring something else. And I'm going to hit you guys with the heavy hitters today as far as Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. So a Marcus Aurelius quote, gratitude, when you arise in the morning, think what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Marcus Aurelius, 2,000 years ago. To be mindful of what a gift we presently have. If we're going to live with intentionality, you got to root yourself in that as opposed to always desiring something else. There's another philosophical idea called memento mori. Uh, this is kind of dark, but it's legit. The idea that memento mori means remember that you're going to die someday, which sounds like, oh my gosh, Tom, on a Thursday morning, you're hitting me right out of the gates with that. Um, it just, it allows you to think. It's the idea to be aware. Another Marcus Aurelius quote, think of yourself as dead. You've lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. That's the Ebenezer Scrooge moment. Remember that? Remember Ebenezer Scrooge? It's Christmas right now. He's down at the tombstone and he's wiping off the snow and he says, Ebenezer, oh no, what would I do if I only had a chance again? Today is your day. Today's your Ebenezer Scrooge moment. What would you do moving forward? Intentionality. What do you want? Earn the dawn is about earning the day. It's about living your day with intentionality. Is another partner at the Impact Group, Phil Herman, often says, is this isn't a dress rehearsal. This is it. This is our life. What are we doing with that? So the idea of gratitude, and the idea of gratitude is we're training our minds. There's something very real called neuroplasticity. We can train our minds how to interact with things. And again, we could talk about neuroplasticity for 3 hours in itself, but the idea is gratitude requires intentionality, requires effort. It takes no effort whatsoever to be negative. We're wired with negativity bias all day long. But to be positive, it requires actual effort. It requires gratitude. It requires us to be aware of these things. So a big one to begin is gratitude as we're earning the dawn. Another aspect of gratitude, of earned the dawn, and what we teach at the Impact Group, which is powerful, is the idea that we control our thoughts. Our thoughts do not control us. Again, Marcus Aurelius, the happiness of our life depends upon the quality of our thoughts. Wrap your mind around that. The next one by Seneca. People are affected not by events, but the view they take of them. We as human beings, leaders on this call, things are going to happen to you all day. We can do nothing about that. Things happen to us. Can't do anything about it. No control. We have total control over how we interpret those things that happen. 100%. Is it good? Is it bad? There's a wonderful old story from China. In China, there's an old farmer. And this is a famous Zen story, but the idea is this farmer, he's on his farm and he has a horse and he needs this horse to plow and do everything in his fields. And one day his horse runs off and the other villagers come by and say, oh no, what horribly bad luck, horribly bad luck. And he says, good luck, bad luck, I don't know. A couple days later, that horse returns. And the horse returns from the woods and it has 10 other horses with it. This horse is brought up, so he now has 10 horses to work with his farm. Wonderful. The villagers come by and say, wow, wonderful luck. He says, good luck, bad luck, I don't know. His adult son comes to help with that. He's trying to train the new horses, falls off one of the new horses and breaks his leg terribly. Villagers come by and say, oh no, what horrible luck. Good luck, bad luck, I don't know. The military comes through, and back in the day when the military would come through to draft or conscript your sons, it was a death sentence. You'd never see your sons again. So the military comes through, and they take all able-bodied men to go off fight in the war, but they didn't take his son because his leg was broken. The villagers say, what wonderful luck. He says, good luck, bad luck, I don't know. Where I'm going with this is things happen. We have no idea about the good, the bad. We often judge these things when they happen. There's a wonderful quote from the Dalai Lama, and who can argue with the Dalai Lama, for Pete's sakes? He says, "Remember that sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck." Wrap your mind around that. Sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck. My wife years ago taught at Kent State. She did kind of an interim thing for a while, and there was a professorship that came up, and she really wanted this job, and she put her heart into it, man. She put her heart into it. She really wanted that job, and she didn't get it. She really interviewed. She thought she was going to get it, didn't. Total heartbreaking experience. A month later, my wife got hired as a oncology social worker at Summa, and a month after that, her dad was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And my wife was in the most ideal spot possible to help him navigate through cancer from the inside. So Shannon and I, my wife, we still marvel about that. Oh my gosh. I mean, talk about the universe or whatever, things just happen. So when we're saying things are good, they're bad, whatever, be aware that sometimes that's a judgment that maybe we don't know if the grand whatever. So as a leader, this is something we also ask you, these are things we want to have you work with your staff on and your folks that they have the ability to interpret things. Are they open to the fact that there may be a positive which we don't quite yet see? Another aspect of Earn the Dawn, and this is one which is culturally, this is counterculture, man. Comfort will kill you. What I mean by that, I love this, that another Marcus Aurelius, comfort is the worst addiction. Now, let's think about this for a second. Who doesn't like sleeping in on a weekend? Who doesn't like the warmth of your home? That's wonderful. We all like comfort and enjoy the comfort as it is. But this is one of those tough truths. If you're living in an entirely comfortable state all the time, I'm going to be bold and say you're not growing. I'm going to be bold and saying you're not doing something which makes you stretch. If you can imagine a chart where you've got there's on the wall, I would draw a circle that says your comfort zone, and outside that circle, way away, another circle, and you're right in that circle where the magic happens, where the amazing things happen, where the growth happens. They're not in the same place. The idea of comfort is sometimes I love the idea that if you do what's easy, life is hard. If you do what's hard, life becomes easier. And life's never easy. We all have challenges, but that's the old I talk to my children a lot about this, that you either pay up front or you pay later. So the idea is let's choose the hard path now. Let's do what's difficult now. Let's actually step up to this now because it's going to pay off later. But that requires that motivation. So the idea is if comfort is the worst addiction, I want us to think about that for a second. Think about our world right now does everything in its power to keep us in a level stasis. If it's 73 degrees, I'm on fire. It's burning around here. If it's 67 degrees, I'm freezing. Think about that. We have to have our temperature just right. Do your clothes, do they itch? Are they pretty? Your clothes fit okay. The temperature is just right. I'm lucky enough, maybe I've had a breakfast. I'm not hungry. We are in this perpetual state of balance. I'm gonna be careful about that because there's emotional aspect and such, but I'm talking about just like a stasis of comfort. I'm gonna be bold. That's not good. Do we want to grow? If we want to grow, what are you doing to be intentionally uncomfortable? Um, there's another element with this. The idea that when we talk about comfort kills, when we talk about earn the dawn, we talk about growing, the idea is we need to, with intentionality, do things. And again, we're talking about if we want to grow, what do you want? What do you want is your North Star, right? Health-wise, professional growth, family relationships, fiscal stability, emotional well-being, spirituality, recreation, your contribution to the world. What do you want? So intentionally we set that and then we go and get it. Now here's the thing. As we talk about comfort being killed, that kills you as such, is the idea that there's discipline and there's motivation. Motivation is fickle. This is especially with the comfort because motivation is, you know what? I'm training for a marathon, but it's kind of cold out today. I'm not. I'm out. I'm not going to do that. I'll run tomorrow. It's you know what? I'm writing this paper. I'm trying to get my dissertation squared away. I need to do this today. Nah, I'm not going to do it today for this or that. Motivation kind of comes and goes with our mood. Discipline means you have decided you are going, I am going to run and train for that marathon. I don't care if the snow is horizontally blowing. I am training. I don't care if I have to, I know I have a lot of family activities today, but I promised myself I was going to work for an hour on this particular project or this whatever. I'm going to, if I got to get up at 5 a.m., by gosh, I'm going to do it. We do what we got to do. So discipline and motivation are different. So I'm going to ask you about is when you once again intentionality with Earn the Dawn. What do you want? We've clearly decided what we want. And then we have to make the decision as am I kind of motivated by the latest thing, or am I, by gosh, this is something that I am going to get. And if it is, discipline. Now there's a piece here as well. Self-compassion. When you get into the comfort kills and the go get 'em aspect, what I don't want anybody to take here with Earn the Dawn is that, my gosh, you grind, and you succeed. Not at all. Not at all. Have your vision, have your goal, go get it. But some days are going to work out, and some days aren't going to work out. And when they don't work out, the idea with self-compassion is to give yourself a break. I think sometimes when folks that are hard drivers that set goals, they end up defeating themselves because they're very difficult on themselves. When we talk about self-compassion in this regard, I want you to think about a loved one who you are coaching up to, once again, to complete their dissertation or to run a race or to do something difficult. And they have a goal, and this loved one that you care for with all your heart, they falter and they don't do well. Would you say to that person that you love and care for, you big dummy, you loser, why didn't you get up to do that? Why don't you ever do what you say you're going to do? You would never say that. You'd say, it's okay. You're working hard. Keep it up. Generally, we don't act as compassionately toward ourselves as we do to those we love. And my gosh, in a very positive way, support yourself. Be an advocate for yourself. So when I say comfort kills and comfort is the worst addiction, and you got to go get it, with all my heart, go get it. But be prepared. Some days are going to go better than others. Okay, as we're also talking now about Earn the Dawn, we're talking about going for what you want to get. Something times we got to get, it's called head trash, just this stuff in your mind. It just gets in your way. And there's a fabulous concept in Stoicism called the dichotomy of control. The dichotomy of control. And it's a fancy way of saying there are things you can control and things you can't. I'm going to hit you with another Marcus Aurelius here. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. You have power over your mind, not outside events. I want you to think about that in a very positive way. I mean, this concept is either liberating or the most terrifying thing you ever heard. All you control between here and the most distant, undiscovered planet are your thoughts and the actions from your thoughts. That's it. That is it. Leaders on this call, sometimes when you're really stuck, when you're in the middle of a really difficult situation, honest to gosh, I do this all the time. I get a piece of paper. I write a line down the middle. On the left-hand side, what can I control? Right-hand side, what I can't. And it turns out that there's a heck of a lot of things you can't control, almost all of them. Now, sometimes people hear this and they'll think the dichotomy of control is it's a passive part of philosophy. Not at all. Not at all. Fiercely control what you can control. Fiercely control, you can control how you're showing up. You can control your body language. You can control your tone. You can control the time or a place you're setting something up, or the quality of your work, or helping another provide quality work. There's a bunch you can control with your thoughts and intentionality. But man, here's the big thing. You can't control outcomes. And for those that are control freaks, and let's face it, most of us are, so grace, and more grace, we can't control outcomes. We can do our very best and really think through, have I done everything I can in my power to set this up for success? And to a degree, then it's sort of universe, take it, man. It is what it is. That takes training. This whole earn the dawn, stoicism, this is a journey, man. I mean, this stuff I've been studying it for a long time myself, and I'm still figuring a lot of this stuff out as well. I'm always a pupil at this, so I don't want anybody to think, "Gosh, that's really hard. I can't do that." Or maybe you can't do it yet, or you don't do it often yet. But the dichotomy of control is powerful. Another piece here of Earn the Dawn, which is a powerful component, another element of Stoicism. There's something called the flow. And what essentially the flow means is that things, like I said, things happen. And a lot of times we allow ourselves, and the operative word here is allow ourselves to be upset about things that it's just the nature of them to happen. I'm going to hit you with an Epictetus here, an Epictetus quote. Don't seek to have events happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen, and all will be well with you. I'm going to say that again. That's a don't seek to have events happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen, and all will be well with you. An example, many of my folks at the Impact Group have heard me talk about this. I'll use the example of if you fly a lot and you're in an airline and you're sitting there reading your book or doing whatever, and the next gate over, a flight gets canceled. And you're watching people lose their ever loving minds. They're so upset. Oh my gosh, my flight got canceled. This is horrible. From a Stoic point of view, from an Earn the Dawn point of view, it's in the nature of flights to get canceled. You're flying. Why are you allowing yourself to be upset by that? It's like, I can't believe I'm so frustrated. There's traffic. It's 5 o'clock in the city and on a Friday. I'm so frustrated. It's in the nature of there to be traffic. We work with a lot of developmental disability communities, and one of the difficulty parts in that community is staffing. They have a very difficult time with direct service provider providing the staffing. And I've had worked with leaders before that they when they show up in the morning and somebody called off, they're like, "Oh, I'm so upset. Somebody called off. This is terrible." Somebody calls off every day. Every day. It's I'm not saying don't deal with it. Figure out a system and deal with that issue. But if you're allowing yourself to be blown away, frustrated with something that happens like that, that's not the flow. I would argue that is, and this is another sit in the woods for a couple of days and sort it out. We would argue that a lot of the things which get you all twisted up in a knot are the flow. And you then you have to decide these things that really, really get me all anxious, is it something I can do something about? If it is, let's do something about. Or is it something that it is the way it is, and you're going to decide, and the operative word is decide, it's not going to bother you. And again, with all humility, gosh, I sometimes I don't do this myself. We're all learning, right? We're all students, but it is a powerful piece. Another aspect of Earn the Dawn is the idea of self-reliance, the idea very much Emerson. If anybody's ever, certainly today, Marcus Aurelius Meditations, the Golden Sayings of Epictetus, oh my gosh, must reads, and Self-Reliance by Emerson. Those books will change your life. Self-reliance. The idea a lot is that we need support of others in our community, but from a stoic, from an earn the dawn perspective, from a leadership perspective, sometimes you have to go on your own steam. And this is a tough quote from Epictetus as well, but never depend upon the admiration of others. There's no strength in it. Personal merit cannot be derived from an external source. I'll say that one again. Never depend upon the admiration of others. There's no strength in it. Personal merit cannot be derived from an external source. Where this is going is, Marcus Aurelius will also often talk also about, stop talking about what it means to be a good person. Just be a good person. Don't talk about it. Just live it. If that's what you believe, live it. So the idea here is, if we are hoping for external admiration for our actions, that's that kind of undermines sometimes things that we're going for. Are we doing things in the developmental disability community? Are we doing what we need to do to support those we care for our employees, for the rest? Are we making the best decisions we can for that? For our school friends on the call, are we making decisions that are best for the kids? How can we support the kids? How can we support our employees? How can we support their parents? For business, for myself and others at the Impact Group and other private businesses, what are we doing to make sure that those we care for are supported, those that we work with are supported? Are we making decisions? That has to be what fills your cup. If you're in a situation as a leader where you're depending upon the admiration of others to fill your cup, that's a that's a tough road as a leader to follow. So again, gosh, I wish I had you guys for another 4 hours. Earn the Dawn, in its essence, is about intentionality. We're earning the day. We're deciding what we want. So I'm going to end the way I began with a challenge to you all. I would like you to think about, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want from a health perspective for yourself? What do you want personally and professional growth? What do you want? What do you want with your family and relationships? What do you want as far as financial stability? What do you want regarding your own emotional well-being? What do you want regarding spirituality and faith, if that's important to you? What do you want regarding recreation? And what do you want regarding what contribution are you giving to this world? Intentionality, 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 intentionality. What do you want? We're at the Impact Group. My name is Tom Speaks. I began the company about 24 years ago with a partner back then, and honored to work here with an awesome staff of people. We do strategic planning. If anybody on this call would need strategic planning, we love doing that. We do strategic communications, where we work with organizations and we help them tell about the good things they do. So if you're trying to get your message out and tell your great story to your community, we'd be honored to help. We do a lot of professional development like this. We come in and we'll help leadership develop, we'll help create a great culture, we'll help whether it's coaching individuals, an organization, and we also do crisis communication. I'm afraid that in this world, some people have lost their ever-loving minds, and when they do, and people make bad decisions, when they do, you can call us. The Impact Group will have your back. So really appreciate everyone's time today. Thank you for your time. And if you have any things you guys want to reach out, I'm actually going to put my email in the chat box here. If anyone has any questions regarding any strategic or any stoicism or any earn the dawn, I'd be thrilled to talk to you. Everybody in this call, you've passed the test. Everybody, you can go out and get fitted for your togas, your official stoics. Thank you guys. So appreciate your time today. Go get them and earn the dawn.